Lunacy. It's madness. It's madness. It's madness. It's madness. Lunacy by Joe Fury. It's madness.
Oh my gosh. Boney, what's going on? We had some crazy technical problem there. We had some dead air. We had some black space there with nothing in it. There's no intro. Can you just cue the intro? I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 That was so weird. That never has happened before. But Boney, I don't know. I think he fell asleep at the switch. Boney is my assistant. He has been really hitting the sauce lately, I think. There's a question about this sponsor, Lunacy. What does it smell like? Well, let's see. Smells like full crazy person with a touch of bourbon. Yeah, so that's our sponsor, Lunacy. You can get yours where all smelly perfume is sold. Top notes of paranoia bolstered by mids of OCD and nestled in a woody cedar base. Exactly. So there you go. There you go for all your connoisseurs out there. Speaking of connoisseurs, I want to say thank you to the connoisseurs of great internet media. These are my Patreons. I could not do this show without you. Howard Aronin, Mike Knox, Todd Lee, Camila Lopez, Liz Lopez, Robert Lopez, whose birthday was yesterday, as was mine. Jay Patterson, happy birthday to Robert Lopez. Ivy Palma, Pam Palmieri, Neil Phillip, who shared my birthday with me yesterday, Sethward, Jason Edelman, Mary Marks. Thank you all for being Patreons. Howie is here. Happy TGIF. Yes. It's feeling good today. Feeling really good. I got a great guest today. Yvette Lovstad. She's a hilarious comedian. A lot of you probably know her. Matt says, happy birthday. Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate it. I try not to put my birthday on Facebook or social networking because I don't know why. It's a secret, I guess. Let's breathe. Yeah, we had a great birthday yesterday, and we went to the Motion Picture Museum here in Los Angeles, of which now, thanks to my wife, Camila, I am a member. We saw the Jaws exhibit. That's going to be seen on Tuesday's show. We interviewed some people, did some man and woman on the street. We had dinner at a place called Fanny's, which is named after the Funny Girl Barbra Streisand role. Really cool place, really good food. Right now we're going to breathe in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Behind me is healing vibrations. We're clearing the dense energy. I guess that's all the energy that gets kind of balled up. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. One more time. In through the nose, out through the toes. Let it go. Feel the warble pulsing through you. You know, I feel like my voice gets more in my body after I breathe like that. By the way, Camila Lopez is in a contest called Fab Over 40. She could win $40,000. There's a link in the show notes if you click on it, and if you have a Facebook account, you can vote for her every day if you want. Hopefully she'll win. Then she gets to, I don't know, I think we get a big spa vacation or something like that. So join in the fun there. Vote for her often. You can do that. All right, let's get into this thing. I just want to do a little bit of a holiday fun thing that I like to do, and that's watch animals eat pumpkins. So let's do that. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. This is the Oregon Zoo. These are rascally river otters roll Halloween pumpkins into their pond. So if anybody wondered what that looks like, this is it. It's the Oregon Zoo. If you're ever hankering for a good zoo, it's up there in Portland, Oregon. Check it out. And then one other thing that I wanted to show to you that you don't see often is from the Bionic and the Wires YouTube channel, and it is a mushroom playing a piano. One of the things that I really enjoy about this site, which is a very popular site, Bionic and the Wires, is the comments below. Let's just see some of them. The chances of you running into a mushroom playing a keyboard is low, but never zero. Play that fungy music. I like that. Let's see what else. I'm not sure why, but this is the exact type of music I'd expect a mushroom to play. This is not where I thought the future was headed, but I'll accept it. Yeah, there's great comments on this channel. And of course, incredible fungus music. So check that one out. Let's see what the comments are. For some reason, this reminds me that I once worked on a soundstage down there that used to be part of Charlie Chaplin's business. Needless to say, you could hear everything outside. That's interesting. Is that the otters or this? Camila says she was #1 in her group. So she made the first cut. That's great. Next one is October 30th. Please vote if you can. All right, cool. Let's get into this thing now called Interview Friday. All right, Interview Friday. Today we have Yvette Lovstad, and she is a comedian. She has been a comedian for quite some time. Very dynamic comedian, as well as an actor and a writer whose stage presence lights up rooms from New York City to Los Angeles. Her journey began with stand-up in the New York City circuit, where she was one of her... she performed in New York, and I guess MTV saw her, gave her a guest VJ spot on MTV. We'll have to ask her about that, if that's true or if that's just something that I made up. Since then, Yvette has brought her sharp wit and fearless humor to national commercials for major brands, performed at iconic comedy clubs, and built a reputation as an overall badass goddess excited about life. I like that. Beyond the stage, Yvette's path has a powerful twist. After a long, successful career in the tech industry, she experienced a personal health crisis that changed everything. She realized life's too short to live someone else's dream and decided to fully lean into her creativity and purpose. And today, she not only makes people laugh with her unfiltered authenticity, but also shares stories that resonate with real life transformation, whether she's baking, singing karaoke, performing stand-up, or simply spreading love. Yvette brings heart and hilarity in equal measure. So there you go. Let's get into this thing with Yvette. Museum visit. Of course.
I'm actually a Black American and half Filipino. I like to call myself a Blasian. But if you want to be genetically correct about it, I'm a Black Capino.
Welcome, Yvette Lovstad, to Lunch Therapy. Perhaps our first Black Capino, but probably not. How are you?
Hi. I'm, I'm really good. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Also, happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Can I sing for you real quick?
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course.
All right. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
Love that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Are you a karaoke performer?
No doubt. No doubt. I'm Filipino, so yes, most definitely we do sing karaoke quite all the time.
That's a big Filipino thing to do, huh?
It is. It really is.
Lovely birthday song. That was really nice. I appreciate that. I'm kind of a tyrant about my birthday. That's what I hear.
Why?
Well, we were talking about it yesterday. I don't know. I'm just weird about it. Like, I love to have a birthday. I have specific things that I have to do, like blow out a candle and that kind of stuff. Some people are like, it's my birthday. I don't really care. But for me, it's a ritual, I guess.
But I respect that. I mean, it's the day you were born, it's the anniversary of the day you were born, and
Yeah.
it's to celebrate you coming into being into this body, right? Like, I get it. That's really cool.
Yeah. And 2 years in a row now, I've gone to the Motion Picture Museum. Have you been there?
I have not
You got to
actually.
check
I
it
need
out.
to go.
Yeah, you got to check it out. Anyway, it's great to have you on the show. I think I've seen you probably at the Hollywood Comedy most often.
Yes.
Is that where you go to work out your material?
A lot, yes. I actually host an open mic there every Saturday night at 7. So if you're a comedian, come through.
How does it work there for Saturday night? Can people just sign up to go, or is it's an
Yeah,
open mic?
it's on slotted. It's an open mic. You sign up, you pay your money to do your 5 or 10 minutes and
Mm.
work your stuff out. It's great. So it's nice being among other comedians, watching them do their work, and then just, being there to hold space for people to support their dreams.
I think that's super. That's such a great thing. What drew you to hosting? Have you done a lot of hosting in your life?
No, I haven't actually. I started last year at a different club and just as something else to do and just to work a different muscle.
Hmm.
And then I'll, get free time. It didn't work out very well for me at that other club. I did get to meet a lot of other comedians in Los Angeles, and when people would come into town, they heard about that place, so they would go in. So it was great for meeting other comedians. Um, but there was, it just didn't pan out for me at that location. Also, they apparently were getting rid of their parking. So we all know how parking is in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And to try and find parking on Sunset Boulevard, I was like, no, this isn't happening. So I left and luckily was able to pick up a hosting spot at the Hollywood Comedy. Um, and it's been great. It's been great because I love that venue. They have, a full day worth of open mics. They also host shows. Um, and there's so many people that come in and out of there. It's phenomenal.
We have such a luxury in Los Angeles to be able to do that. We don't even realize, like, I sometimes will do Zoom calls with different comedians around the country, or I will work with them in their location, and they just don't have that ability. Like, you and I could just walk out the door right now and go do a mic at any time during the day. And it's not even
Yeah,
just one place, there's like several places. And
that's so
that
true.
is such a gift to comedians because you can get so many reps, and it's like working out all the time,
It's a
working on your
huge
material.
gift.
Yeah.
When I was in New York, I started comedy in New York, and I think that's the misnomer. I think so many comedians are like, "Oh, New York is great because you can hit this place and that place and this place, and hop on this show and go to that show." And it's really, yeah, you can do that if you're a man, right? Because if you're a woman, you're not going to be on the subway at 11:30 at night,
Makes sense.
going from place to place. And if you drive into the city, that means you are not only paying for gas, it's taking longer, you're having to find parking. It's a whole scenario. If you're taking a cab at the time when I started comedy, I was living in the Bronx. So commuting into Manhattan, if I wanted to take a cab from Broadway Comedy Club at 11 o'clock at night or 11:30, which I had done a couple of times. I mean, and I'm talking over a decade ago, it was like $50 to go home, 30 to $50. And, or if you could get a cab, if a cab was willing to drive you to another borough because they weren't getting ready to be off of their shift. So for a man, yeah, you could go from club to club to club. But for a woman, you can't really do that in New York. So you'll hear so many comedians be like, "Oh yeah, New York is great. You can do this, you can do that." And I'm like, "No, you can't." But I can actually do that here in LA because I can hop in my car, I can drive, I can, park three doors down. I have other comedians that can walk me to my car if it's really late, but generally, uh, in LA, everyone's out still at 10:30 at night, right? So it's not like I'm walking down a dark alley. um, I love it. I love comedy here, being able to work everything out versus trying to work out my sets and really do the hustle of comedy in New York. So
Yeah, we were saying that
I give
that's
LA a
so.
point for that.
Did you? And it wasn't always like that. We used to have to go to clubs and wait for 3 hours or whatever to get on 2 seconds on the
Yeah,
mic. So there are
yeah.
people that have really facilitated that, people like Joe Menente and people like that. So it's really, really great to see. And it's sort of, I think, made a kind of a boom in stand-up comedy in Los Angeles. But I want to hear about that when you first started out. Like, how long have you been doing comedy?
Oh, it's actually funny. I started comedy in the year 2000.
Mhm.
So before, literally March, my first show was March of 2000 before 9/11. I started comedy only because I wanted to be a comedic actress. And back in the day when headshots were black and white, uh, you needed stand up on your resume because improv was not a thing yet. So I called around. I found the comedy club, and they were like, "Yeah, it was near a comedy club. We do a class." And the class was done by Chris Murphy, who still teaches comedy. Um, Phenomenal comedy teacher. And actually, he's doing a class for people who are suffering from cancer, so they can find a way to transmute, what they've been going through into something humorous and help others. Chris Murphy is his name. He's phenomenal. So anyway, Chris was doing a class. I did the class. At your final class, you do a show. And um, in my final show at Broadway Comedy Club, I got a call from MTV to be a guest VJ. So um, I actually didn't wind up doing it because the casting person who called me was angry that I took 2 hours to call her back, and I should have called her within 15 to 30 minutes.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not. I was like, well, I just got home and I heard the message on my answering machine. And she was like, well, you should have a pager and a quarter in your pocket. And when as soon as somebody pages you, you should be able to run to a payphone and call them.
That's
And
incredible.
nowadays I have my iPhone, but it was, yes, Chris.
There's
Oh,
Chris
love
Murphy.
him. Funny guy. But yeah, that was
Looks like
the
a cool guy.
experience.
Yeah.
He's a super cool guy. So I never got to be a VJ, but I at least got the call
They make you
to
like
do it.
neurotic, don't they? I mean, it's like they're trying to make us
Yeah.
neurotic. Like,
Yeah. I
you
mean,
can't, what if you went to a movie? You can't go, you have to have your
right.
pager on at the movie? You
Yeah.
know, I
Yeah.
don't understand. It's just so, but you
It,
kind of have to be it. And I guess that's the way it is with acting these days too, where you know, you have to do these auditions and they can just summon you essentially to do these
yeah.
auditions. And who knows how many people they're summoning, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I think as I've gotten older, I've not allowed that crazy making as much,
Yeah.
honestly, because it's not okay and it's not appropriate. And exactly as Matt said, I dodged a bullet. I really did. Um, I don't think it's appropriate to treat anyone, disrespectfully, whether you're a casting director or a director on set. And so, to me, I think the blessing in that is now that I'm older, I can, I guess sit in my own power and just be like, you know what, I don't want to work with you, and I've done that. I've done
Yeah.
that with people. So
It's harder when you're younger because you're so impressionable about, people tell you this is the rule. You have to do this. You should do that. You're like, oh, I guess I have to do that. Whereas you get older and you're kind of like, no, I don't have to do that. That's your rule. Maybe
exactly.
around you, I guess you want people to be scared or something. Or maybe you waited to the last second to try and get this VJ. And so now you only have an hour to do it. But that's kind of on you, not on me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and also when you go to all those casting director workshops, I don't know if you've been to those before, but you find out that every casting director has their own set of rules. And there are
Totally.
not rules that are set in stone that they all talk to each other about. And here are the 10 commandments of being an actor. There's like
Right.
100 different things and they contradict each other.
They do. They
They
really do.
totally do contradict each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's crazy. It makes us nuts. I want to play this because it's an example of how you turn life's difficulties into comedy.
One of the bad things, though, about getting old is your body starts to disintegrate. So a couple of years ago, I had to have a hysterectomy because my uterus was trying to kill me, so I killed it first. But now that I no longer have a uterus, I finally know what it's like to be a white male Republican. Yeah, and I don't give a fuck about abortion rights. What, too soon? I'm kidding. Look at me. Of course I'm pro-choice. God, I have way too much melanin in my skin not to be. Besides, as I look out here, I see a couple of fuckboys that should have been aborted.
There it is. 100%. That's good. That's good how you go for it. Did you so when you started doing comedy though, did you see yourself as a comedian? You said, sort of utilitarian in that you needed it on your resume. But was there something that lit up about it for you where you were like, this is my home. This is what I want to do?
Actually, yes. And that was a funny thing. So I did it. I had it on my resume. I was like, oh, I'm good. I don't need to do this anymore. And then as the months went by, so I had done my show in March. Um, and then, summer came around. And then I was like, you know what? That was a lot of fun. I would love to go back to doing that. Then unfortunately, 9/11 happened.
Mm. Yeah.
So from there, like no one was doing anything in New York. And by that point, I had literally quit acting and stand up for, I believe it was like 12 or 13 years.
Hmm.
And then finally, I was like, okay, these are the most miserable years of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they really, really were. And so from there, 2013, I guess it was, actually, I had taken a workshop, a coaching workshop to become a coach called You Can Heal Your Life. Um, and it was based on Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. And it was just transformational for me. Um, I just got rid of a lot of limiting beliefs. And from there, I it was in San Diego's where the workshop was.
Hmm.
I flew back home to New York. And from there, I started acting again. I started doing stand up again. So then I did New York Comedy Club. Um, and then actually, I had called the club to find out if Chris was still teaching because I was like, it's been some time. Let me go
Yeah.
back. And so he was. So I did another course just to get my feet wet again. And it was just phenomenal. From there, I haven't stopped because I realized, like I have the ability, all comedians do. We have the ability and the opportunity to help people regulate their nervous systems, right? When the world is in chaos, um, like for example, when we were having the fires at the beginning of the year here in Los Angeles in January, a lot of people were like, oh no, I could do more than just be on stage. And so it was great for them to go and volunteer. But for other people who were like, oh, who gives a F about your show? Da da da, LA's on fire. And my stance was no, you know, a lot of people are going through a lot of trauma and a lot of events right now, and the country's going through this crazy change. And obviously, in January, we didn't know how crazy it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I said, this is our opportunity to help people regulate their nervous systems. The people who are going to come out to the clubs and to the shows, and as audience members, want to take their mind off of all the chaos. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to make them laugh. We're here to make them relate and, bring bring some things down, and raise their, serotonin levels. So that's how I view comedy now. And it took me a while. It took me a while to actually get to that point. And actually the fires was the main catalyst for me to realize this. Because initially was doing it just for me.
Mhm.
When I started, I did it just to have it on my resume. And then when I wasn't doing it, I felt a loss. I felt like something was missing. And like, oh, what is that? And then I would go see all these other speakers on stage, Wayne Dyer before he passed away. And literally, I was watching him talk on stage in Denver, and I just started crying. He had told a story, and it was kind of funny. And I just started crying because I realized that should be me. Like, I should be on stage, his story was, he was talking about, when he was young, he had a teacher in Catholic school that kept telling him he was a scurvy elephant, you know, a scurvy
A
elephant. And he didn't
scurvy
know what that
elephant.
meant.
Yeah.
And he was, he'd gone home and he was like, I'm this troublemaker. I'm a scurvy elephant. What even is a scurvy elephant? Well, then he later found out that what she was really saying was that you're a disturbing element.
It's hilarious.
But he was a child, and so he didn't understand. But
Scurvy
then as
elephant.
he grew older, he understood what he started to realize was that he wasn't a scurvy elephant, right? Nor was he a disturbing element. He was just a child that was living life and understanding different things. And, he was a leader, and that he didn't have to follow, like follow the leader just because someone said it, like a lemming, right?
Hmm.
And that
Hmm.
he realized he should be a a scurvy elephant and get people to understand, hey, you're more than just this body. Um, and I literally, I just remember hearing that story. One, it was funny, and then two, just crying because I longed to be back on stage. And I was like, oh, okay.
Hmm.
So it was a series of events that finally got me back into stand up.
Do you think it seems like learning stand up is such a mix of different things, and I think there's like an evolution that comedians go through. Like at first I think we do, like you say, we do it for ourselves. A lot of us, some of us are actors, some of us just want to get it out. We've got all these thoughts in our heads and we just want to get it out. And then there's a certain point where you start to turn the viewpoint from yourself out to there, which can be kind of scary at times, but also like start to put your feet in the shoes of the audience members and go, what am I providing for them? I think partially we do this too to say, like, how can I make money at this? Because, and that kind of forces you to go, wait a minute, I'm providing a service here for people and they exchange money for it. I better figure out what they want, and how I can uniquely provide that. And I think for me, and it sounds like for you, I also like to provide a little bit of insight on life because I think that's the ultimate stand up nirvana is that you're not only making people laugh regularly, but they're also maybe changing their viewpoints a little bit or getting a different viewpoint that might be healthy for them or good for
Yeah,
society. And that's a major challenge.
totally, totally. I um I personally don't think too much of what does the audience want because you can't please everyone,
Hmm.
and my jokes won't be for everyone. Um, so I just work for me personally. I work on jokes that resonate for me, and honestly, all my jokes for the most part about me and my life anyway, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Which I think all comedians do that. But I know that the right people who need to see me will. The people who want to continue to see my jokes will continue to follow me. And the people who don't want to, well, that's fine. I'm not your audience. And it's, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I got my tea right here. So,
Well, it's true. There are a lot of people that'll say, like, don't talk about politics, don't do these certain things because it's not going to play when you're touring the United States in the different comedy clubs. And that isn't necessarily these days what all comedians do.
yeah,
It seems like to me there's more paths than there used to be.
I agree. I agree. I am conscious though of where I'm at for which jokes I do. Um, and I'm going to get dark, but it's also the truth, right?
Yeah.
And the reason being is as a woman of color, so one, I'm a woman, and two, I'm a Black woman. I'm also half Filipino, right? But people don't see that. And for my own personal safety, um, I will sometimes, just switch up my set. So, for example, I was in Orange County at a show, and someone had a Confederate flag on their truck outside, at this bar. And so I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Right. I left out the joke that you played in terms of my hysterectomy,
Hmm.
and I
Hmm.
just did dog jokes.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm changing myself, but I'm also being aware of my safety when I leave a venue.
Hmm.
And it's frankly sad that I have to do that, but uh, I've had to do that my entire life, So as a product of the 70s, a Gen Xer,
Hmm.
Gen X was literally the first group of children that could, I could go knock on the door of my white Mormon friend and say, hi, can Denise come out to play? And her parents would be like, yeah, okay. People couldn't do that before. And I think I think that's the other thing that people are missing in the understanding of where we are historically. Like we're not that far off from things. And unfortunately, people are trying to revert back to prior to that, right? But I feel like as actors and as comedians and as creative artists, it's our job to keep um like uplifting the spirits and getting people to connect because that's what art does, right? So it gets us to bind together and connect and have a common thing, because you'll leave a club and you see people, the people leaving and they're laughing and they're talking, but they didn't come together, right? But they saw this, group of comedians together, and so then they're talking about it. And it's a way for people to connect. So yeah.
Somebody said that art is giving people that you give people what they want. You can give people what they want, or you can be an artist and give people what they didn't know they wanted. And
Ooh,
I
yeah,
think that
I
that's
love
like
that.
kind of a cool thing. Like sometimes people don't
Yeah,
realize what they need.
right.
And
You don't know
if you
what
can
you don't
provide
know.
that, yeah. And sometimes you have to take risks to see like, is this something, that is going to work for these people? I
Yeah,
think it's a really good point of view. Have you been somebody that, do you feel like you've been searching in your life for something?
always,
Yeah.
always.
Are you pretty open-minded to things that come your way, or uh, have you
I w-
learned to be closed-minded or more open-minded, and as you get older?
I wish I could say I'm open-minded. I think I honest to God waffle.
Yeah.
Um, I go back and forth, right? Like, and I think it's the fear of the unknown, right? So it's like sometimes I'll be super open. I'll be like, yeah, that's cool. Let's try
Yeah.
it. With all the cults that I've joined, I should know that.
Yeah. I wa-
But
I watched that interview with you on the that show, which I highly
black
recommend.
and cult, black and
Yes,
cultivated.
Black and
Oh,
Cultivated. That's it, and
it's
that's
yeah.
Larissa Renee Frederick, right? That's
Yeah,
Lanisa.
Lanisa,
Lanisa.
yeah.
I
Um,
really enjoyed that. I gotta say.
so,
Um,
but yeah, there are times where I'm totally open, and then there are other times where I'm like, oh my goodness, no, I just gotta wait. I have to research it 5,000,000 different times. Google's free. Let me Google it. Google's free.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
yeah. Now you can kind of run a little bit of a check on things before you go in and
yes.
join something that turns out to be a cult. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with Scientology? Because I also have experience with Scientology, and
Oh,
I
oh,
think
I
it
want to
was,
hear it.
yeah. I'll talk. I am actually afraid to talk about it because when I
Why?
have because that organization scares me.
Yeah, they
It
are
scared me
scary.
before I investigated and went in there and took classes. It scared me before, and it scares me afterwards too. Even though I know a lot about it, I know a lot of people who are Scientologists. I actually got into it because of the Beverly Hills Playhouse. I don't know if you were
Oh,
ever involved with that, but there were a lot of
yeah.
Scientologists in that at the time. And
How
somehow,
long were you apart?
probably a couple of years, I was in and out of there taking classes because there's some stuff in there that's really interesting because it's based on Eastern philosophy, a lot of it. And,
Yeah,
and also, I dare I say, some of it's based in psychology as well.
totally.
Yeah, so there are certain things that still come to mind from Scientology where I'm like, yeah, that's an overt motivator or something like that, something that they would say,
Yeah,
which an
yeah.
overt motivator is somebody who's all of a sudden somebody's mad. Though this is my description of it. Somebody's like mad at you and you can't figure out why. And it's because they've done something against you and they feel guilty about it. And so now they want to make you a bad person, so it justifies the thing that they did, and then that kind of cycles into then you do something bad to them, and it kind of becomes. And
Right.
that I see that in life. I see things like that in life. Um, so yeah, so there were a lot of good things about it, but then the overall organization of it, just as I started to see how it worked and how there were people essentially working for nothing, working 24 hours a day for
Yeah.
this organization because it was a church. Um, I started to go, this is not right. And then of course my mailbox is still full. My PO box is still full of Scientology email.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I walked past when I was living in New York, I kept walking past this place called the Celebrity Center. And so I had moved, out of college. I had stayed with my mom for a year and then I moved to New York City. And I mean, obviously I had moved to New York to pursue acting and I wanted to be famous, right? So
Yeah.
what is the Celebrity Center? Can I see celebrities?
Yeah.
So that's how I got in.
I mean,
And
it's easy.
then,
We're as actors, we're just so open to things, and we've
yeah,
gone through
yeah.
so many different techniques and exercises and things like this. This just seems like another one.
It, you know, it was interesting, and you're totally right. All L. Ron Hubbard did was take philosophies from a whole bunch of different religions and from psychology and put it all together in a book
He was very
and make it
organized,
his own.
apparently.
Yeah, and make it his own religion,
Yeah.
so that he could get tax credits to keep funding his sci-fi. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, the man had a hustle, and he wasn't wrong.
Yeah, the hustle. For sure.
So, but
But
I
they're
wound up
like,
on
this is
staff.
your home. This is a celebrity center. It's just for you. And celebrities are artists are the highest form of expression.
Right. Yeah.
So
And you
we've
know
made
what?
this beautiful home for you. And you're like, well, great.
Yeah. And they weren't wrong about that.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's still a lot of truths from Scientology that I take into my life, but
Mhm.
to stay connected to the organization was no. Like,
Yeah.
and well, I was basically excommunicated anyway because I wound up joining staff for 17 cents an hour.
Yeah.
And when I quit staff, then they call you what is it?
An
You're
SP,
like,
a
what was that again?
suppressive person,
Yeah, or yeah, something like
or
that.
a
But no, there's an
PTS or something.
Yeah, you're a PTS person,
Yeah.
like a potential trouble
You're
source.
lucky if you're a
So
PTS person and not a suppressive person, because suppressive
yeah,
person,
no, yeah,
you're really in trouble.
yeah, they automatically label you as a PTS, a potential trouble source.
Yeah.
And all my friends that were in Scientology had to disconnect from me. So they isolate you out, which honest to God makes it easier to get out. So it's totally fine. But I saw a lot of crazy stuff when I was there. So
Did you? Yeah.
I did. I'm not afraid to talk about them because, whatever. Like,
I see that Leah Remini show, and you see
oh yeah.
all the details in there and stuff. But you also see kind of them going after her, which is just scary. I totally agree, Yvette. No need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Humans are all fallible.
Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've met a lot
Exactly.
of really great people in there. That's obviously they were just like-minded people. A lot of the people, but
Yeah.
it's. She says, "Spill the tea." What did you see?
All right. Oh God, which story do I tell you?
Anyone is
Uh,
good.
there was one man who was trying to get out. His wife had been in the sea organization, so they have a whole, like you see the big buildings here.
Mhm.
They have a ship that people are just out in the middle
An
of the
actual
ocean.
boat. A
Yes,
boat.
it's an actual cruise ship. It's giant, um, where they, are there to learn and then help the people that are paying exorbitant amounts of money to go take special classes that you can only take on the boat. Um, and anyway, both husband and wife were on staff. The wife had been out on the sea organization for like years, almost a decade. Apparently, the husband was getting sick of it, but not telling anyone. So then he started cheating on his wife with another woman that had joined staff. And he knew that I needed money because I didn't have another job other than Scientology. So
Yeah.
he was like, well, I'll pay you to clean my house. So I went to clean his house in Brooklyn, his brownstone. Well, there were all these boxes of clothes, so I thought that they were his wife's. And he's like, "Oh, I'm giving them away," was the story he gave. It turns out he had refinanced the home, so put another mortgage out on a home that was had already been paid for. that was actually her home that she grew up in. So it was her childhood home. He refinanced it, left the mortgage in her name only, took all the money, and him and this other woman ran away. They
Oh
ran
my
away from
gosh.
Scientology with that money. Yeah.
Wow.
So then when she came back, she was like, I know you were cleaning the house for us and thank you, this, that, and the other thing. The blinds look great.
I'm sure.
And she was like, do you know what happened? And I was like, oh, I thought those were your clothes. And so as I kept telling her things, like pieces of the puzzle started to come together. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was really fucked up. And yes, it was an ethics
It's an
violation.
ethics violation.
Oh, Kamala, let me find out you were a Scientologist also, girl.
Well, that's my wife, and she and I would do this together. We would go over there and take
Okay.
classes and all that, and we
Yeah.
always ended up in the ethics department
Oh
because
my goodness.
there was always some problem.
Oh
And we
my
kind of thought
gosh.
we were sort of rebels because we were like, let's do this thing that nobody's doing, everybody's afraid of. So we were in there like really, we would really laugh a lot. I mean, we really laughed a lot. We did the whole
No.
purification thing and everything.
Ugh, they wouldn't let me do it. I'm still
They
upset
wouldn't
about
let you
this to
do
this
it.
day.
I know, because you had taken some kind of psychotropic at some point or something like that, right?
Yeah, I had done acid. And so if
Yeah.
you do acid, that automatically,
They have all
like,
these arbitrary
yeah.
rules.
And they were like, well,
You
if you
can't
get
sit in a
to,
sauna because you did
yeah,
acid.
yeah, you can, if you get to this level, then maybe, we can have a hearing for you to be able to do the, purification rundown. So it was I was doing all the levels,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah.
you'll
And
never
then,
be pure. You'll never be pure,
no, I'll never
Yvette.
be pure. I'll never get taken by the aliens that they want me to get taken by.
Yeah, that's why I like the Leah Remini thing because she goes all the way up, all the way
Yeah,
up into
yeah,
where they have her open the suitcase or whatever, and
yeah.
to get the real secrets.
You can
Um,
only go all the way up if you have a lot of money, and
a
that's really
lot of
what it
money,
was.
and that's yeah, exactly.
What? They let you do it?
Yeah, they did.
See,
They
this
let
is
her do it.
bullshit. Also, I had done Valium. I had been given Valium at one point, just once.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then that was like, because that was how they're antipsychotic,
psychiatry.
anti-psychiatry. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Which I'm
really,
like,
really
you know what?
against that.
Yeah. But
Anyway, quite an
anyway.
experience. Sometimes these experiences make us stronger. I guess the other reason I don't like to tell people this is because maybe people will think I'm stupid, because I am gullible. I am definitely gullible. Oh my
Well,
God.
I say I'll try anything, well, almost anything
Yeah.
once,
Yeah.
So, oh, she had done all the drugs. And see, and I hadn't. It was just,
It's all how you phrase
yeah,
it, how you phrase it. And they
yeah.
put you on those cans,
Oh my goodness. Yes. The E meter.
the e-meter.
Nothing more American than being required to
My
pay.
favorite thing was the person who gave the e-meter at the place. He was like a kid. This one guy there,
Oh,
he was like, I mean, I don't know how old he was, 12 or something. I don't know. No, I don't
oh
know if
my
he was
goodness.
that young, but there were people working there that seemed like they were kids. And, but they were very like into it because they had been brought up like Leah
Right.
Remini brought
Yeah.
up as a kid, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of scary. Child labor. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, the people that I do know that grew up in Scientology
Mhm.
were definitely, I mean, I think it's harder for them because that's all they've known. And
Well,
that's
and
what
they
they
make
know
the
as the
rest of the
truth.
world seem like a really, really scary place. At least
Right,
that's what I
right.
learned from that
Yeah.
Leah Remini show. She said when she went, there were people in there that said when they went out into the world, they were just so scared. It's sort of like the
Mhm.
way Donald Trump portrays Los Angeles
Oh my word.
or Portland.
Right?
Big Portland was
I
some kind of war zone.
They're like, okay, it's
They're like,
literally one street.
it's a
One street.
small town. There are a lot of homeless people, but there are a lot of homeless people everywhere right now, and and
Right.
and most of the time, it's like we need to help these people, but it's not like they're. And then that whole Antifa thing, it's just nuts that they're like,
Trump is crazy. You know what I did?
I like your shirt. Trump is not
Thank
hot.
you. He's not hot. Gavin Newsom, thank you for putting this
Yeah.
on your website to
It's-
sell. But I I wanted to see what color Trump was, right? So I went through all the Pantone colors, but he's like the Pantone orange. I forget the name. Oh, well, see, I brought it up and now I can't even remember what it was. Here, let me see if I can find it.
Okay.
But he's this crazy, he's literally a Pantone shade. Um,
It's hilarious.
which is insane to do, but like I was just matching his face to all the
His tones.
Pantone colors. But like he's just insane. I don't understand. It's not in here. It's probably written in one of
Yeah.
my comedy books. But
We'll have to
the
go see
man
your
is
show.
crazy.
We'll have to go see your next show in order to get that joke.
Please do.
That's the teaser.
Yes.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
going to play a little
So
bit of comedy here that I think is good. Just like,
all right, cool.
Turtles. You want to know what turtles have over Black lives and women? They can get legislation passed to save their lives. Yeah.
like that. See, we have our own cult here, which is called the cult of the hummingbird, which is just hummingbirds. But there's no mind cage. That's the thing. That's the thing that I think is with cults that is dangerous is they make this mind cage where if you leave, there's all these consequences and you become like other and you become almost like you become the enemy essentially. So you get into this thing where it's all your friends and all this philosophy and all this thing, and then it makes it very difficult to get out because you're like, I don't know what I'd be if I was outside of this thing now. All my friends are here, all my thoughts are here. I bought into this thing. I tried to recruit my friends, stuff like that. Oh my God. Anyway, too funny.
Yeah.
But I love your comedy, the way you take political comedy and you make it fun, like the thing about the turtles. And I think that's really, do you have any kind of comedy structure that you follow? Is that something that you learned in New York or something that you've learned since or somebody that you like as a favorite guru of yours in the comedy world?
I mean, Chris's structure when he taught, and which is the standard structure, even just with like you notice with TV writing, is the rule of threes, right? So um, two things fit, and then the third thing does not at all. And it's also the same with improv, I guess, So when I finally started doing um, improv actually helped me a lot more with my stand up because it was the same. But you know, we could say hummingbirds and I don't know, name another bird, canaries,
Woodpecker.
right?
Oh,
All right,
canaries.
woodpecker. Okay,
Yeah.
so hummingbirds and woodpeckers, and which also makes sense because they have tons of colors, both of those birds, right?
Hmm.
And then we could just then all say otter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then immediately it's just funny because you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So
It's
I
like
try
Steve
to
Martin when
follow
I was a
that.
kid used to have that joke about he had 3 demands. He had hostages. I'm going to get hostages because you see so many people with hostages these days. And he said, but you got to have 3 demands. 3 demands. He's like, first I want a getaway car. Second, I want $1 million. And third, I want the letter M stricken from the English language. So the third one
Yes.
is absurd. And then he goes,
Yeah.
and he kind of mutters like getaway car. Like that's ridiculous. But yeah, like you kind of learn that from comedians naturally. If you listen to a lot of comedians, you kind of learn that rhythm. And then later on, you kind of go, oh, that's like a formula,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. And I think formulas help us sometimes. And other times they get us into that left brain area
Right.
where
Right.
we're all of a sudden like trying to write like a robot or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is,
I agree. I
yeah.
agree. I'm trying to be a little bit more improvisational with my comedy now so that
Yeah.
I don't have to like stress out about remembering my own jokes,
Yeah.
which is crazy. I wrote the joke, and you get up on stage and
Oh,
you're
I
like,
know.
oh, what was that joke again? You
Yeah.
know.
I
So
actually get nervous when I intentionally tell a joke, like intentionally tell a joke that I have written, as opposed to I'm telling a story and there's jokes in it. Because
right.
telling a joke that I've written feels like I've memorized something and now I'm going to tell it to you and I have already told you it's a joke. Sort of like when you do a magic trick and go, I'm going to do a magic trick.
Right.
And then all of a
Right.
sudden you
Right.
get nervous rather
Yeah.
than I'm going to, just something happening. Um, yeah. So I am also, well, I'm doing a thing called the 30-day challenge. This guy, Dean Lewis in Texas, does this. He's a friend of Judy Carter's and he's a really good teacher. But he gives us a joke construction every day for 30 days and you write 3 jokes. And
Oh,
I've found that it's really good for getting your mind to think in a certain way because you think in that structure. But I also think, so at the end of that, you have, 90 jokes, some of them good, some of them terrible. But you can, then you're like, what, a lot of the people in that seminar are kind of like, well, what do I do with these jokes now? Do I string them all together? And it's going to be hard to memorize and all that stuff. But I've found if you take one of those jokes and you go over to the Hollywood comedy and you just start talking about that subject and then you throw it in there, then you naturally start to build a bit. And that's one of the things that I've been doing lately I think it's kind of helpful.
that's awesome. I would love to do this 30-day challenge.
Yeah.
That sounds neat.
Yeah. So he's Dean at deanlewiscomedy.com, which is if you ever want to
Okay.
email him, Dean at deanlewiscomedy. I should put that on the screen for other people too, because it's kind of cool. He was on the show. You can see an interview with him as well. And now I'm putting his email address on the screen. Oh, Boney, come on, not como.com. Jeez,
Boney.
Boney, I don't know why he does that.
Boney's a bonehead.
You're gonna get in trouble saying that to him.
Uh-oh.
Dean at
Boney's gonna haunt me.
deanlewiscomedy.com. Yeah, he's gonna haunt you. Let's see. Matt says I tried to write a haiku tour diary once. Lost the
Oh, cool.
notebook somewhere in the Dakotas. Oh,
Oh,
and there's the Dean at deanlewiscomedy.com. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I did it for 2 months, and it's hard because to try and get it in. But I do find that learning that stuff's helpful, and then you can tell stories somewhere, and suddenly your mind just does one of
cool.
those things. And also, someday it would be fun to write for if they continue to have late night comedy.
Yeah.
Apparently, comedians make money doing that, which is cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we ran out of our time. This has been super fun.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been really, really awesome.
I'm
Pony
glad.
scurvy resistance, I know, right? We're all scurvy elephants, so this is great. And also I will totally vote for Kamala. I did the Fab Over 40 like 2 years ago and I got through a few rounds. So I will vote for you every
All
single day. I want
right.
somebody I know to win.
I
So
love
yeah.
that. There's a link in the show notes for that. So yeah, if anybody wants to vote for her, please do. So that's a thing. That's a thing that people do. The 40 over 40. What did I call it? 40 over 40? It's not called 40 over.
Fab over
Fab
40.
over 40. All right. Well, now it's time for the dance break. You ready to dance
Oh
it
yeah.
out? All right. Cool. All right. Here I've got Broken Peach, one of my favorite bands. Every year they do a Halloween cover song. So this is one from actually 3 years ago. It's a really good one. Thanks for being on the show, Yvette. It's been really great. And I hope to go
Thank
to
you.
one of your open mics where you're holding space, because I like that idea. I love that idea of holding space. I just want to say one other thing. I was over at the Hollywood Comedy the other day, and there was a kid there, Dan, I think his name, and he had a guitar. And he got up there, and you know how like usually comedians are like, and he wasn't doing comedy. He was just going to sing a couple songs. And he got up there, and everybody really held space for him. It was like he's like just getting used to doing that on stage, which anybody who does that knows that it's terrifying at first. You almost can't even function. And he's not singing funny songs either. He's singing like really deep songs. And I was just so impressed with everybody and how everybody was just like for him. I love that. Love that about that. All right, dance break time. Okay, here they go.
You were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar when I met you. I paid you out, I shook you up and turned you around, turned you into someone new. Now 5 years later on, you've got the world at your feet. Success has been so easy for you, but don't forget it's me who put you where you are now, and I can put you back down too. Don't you want me? You know I can't believe it when I hear that you won't see me. Don't you want me? You know I don't believe you when you say that you don't need me. It's not too late to fight. When you think you change your mind, you better change it back or we will both be sorry. Don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me?
All right, thanks Yvette. Thanks everybody. It's been super fun. See you
Thank
all
you.
on Tuesday.